My name is Susan Schall, and I am a founder and lead consultant of SOS Consulting. I have degrees in industrial engineering and mathematics. I did a bachelor's degree in mathematics in what was known as a 3-2 engineering program, where you majored in math, physics, chemistry, depending on what kind of engineering you wanted to study, transferred to a school that had an accredited engineering program, and finished your engineering degree in 2 years. But I was able, through some summer courses and stuff, to do essentially a 3-1 and get a bachelor's in math and then a bachelor's in industrial engineering in 4.5 years. And then I worked for 2 years at Eastman Kodak, so photography, know a little bit about photography, and decided that I wanted more engineering and more education. I'm a lifelong learner and student. So I looked at graduate programs and decided to go back to Penn State, and went initially with the intention of doing only a master's, but after being there for a year, the faculty strongly encouraged me to stay on for a PhD. So I decided to stay on for a PhD, so I spent 4 years back at Penn State in the graduate program and left with both a master's and a PhD in industrial engineering. It's kind of hard to explain what drew me to industrial engineering. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I think that was primarily because our neighbors were lawyers, and I heard all their stories, and I looked up to and respected them and their work. And my best friend in high school also wanted to be a lawyer. But I didn't think about being in a courtroom and arguing a case. I was never very good on the debate team, but more along the technical side of doing patent law. And as I looked at undergraduate programs in my senior year in high school, they all talked about majoring in political science or history. And although those are interesting subjects, nothing against them, I just didn't feel passionate about them. One day my dad came home after being at a Lions Club luncheon. He sat next to another lawyer in town, and he had asked him, "What did you study as an undergrad?" And he said he studied engineering. And my dad said, "Well, that's interesting. Why engineering?" And he said, "Well, it develops critical thinking skills." And he said, "Well, that would kind of make sense. My daughter wants to do patent law and not civic law or family law, so that would make sense for her." So he came home and he said, "Why don't you look at engineering?" So I went back to all the catalogs of the colleges that we'd already visited that had engineering and started reading about all the different types of engineering. I read the description of industrial engineering, and it was like light bulbs go off. This makes so much sense. This is what I want to do. And it's about improving things, making things more effective, more efficient, using resources, time, money, materials, people, the best way that you can to produce the most and the highest quality. And that just sort of really resonated with me. It was like, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. I don't know what it was, but it just connected with me at, I guess, a heart level maybe. Not a brain level, but a heart level, that this is what I'm supposed to do. And once I started taking classes, I was positive of that. 3 years ago, I was recognized by my professional society, the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers, with their Medallion Award, which is given for not only outstanding achievement professionally, but for outstanding service to the profession. I have served the industrial engineering profession for the last 30 years, can't believe it's been that long, in engineering accreditation, and I am one of the few, I say the rare event, industry people that serves in that capacity. And it not only benefits industrial engineering, but all the disciplines of engineering. And to be recognized for that service was very meaningful. I guess you could say at one level, even just living here in the Valley for as long as I have is a personal achievement, in that this is the longest I've had any other address, and I like it here, I'm comfortable here, I have family here. So, and I'm more engaged in this community than I have other places that I have lived. So that is, a simple, perhaps, personal achievement, but to find a place where you can live and participate in the community and be happy and have family, I think is an important thing. My parents are, and that they encouraged me to study whatever I wanted. My high school guidance counselor, when I talked about engineering and trying to find out more information about engineering, said, girls don't do engineering. And I came home and told my dad that, and he said, don't pay any attention to him. And so, my parents were a big inspiration to me. They didn't discourage me from doing anything differently than my brothers, because I have only brothers, no sisters, and taught me to be a member of the community, to serve, to be a learner, to be a student, those kinds of things, and my mom's a great cook and baker, and to offer hospitality to others and those kinds of things. And I think those were inspiring things for me, anyways. Professionally, my first office mate when I first worked for Eastman Kodak was another woman who was a strong leader. She was technically very strong as well, but she was a strong leader who mentored and coached me and got me involved in professional activities within the community and those kinds of things, and I always looked up and respected Diane for that. So she was an inspiration as well. So what role did my family play? Well, I've already mentioned the role that my father played in helping me to identify engineering as a profession. My grandfather, who we lived next door to until I was 5, again, didn't treat me any different than my brothers. If I wanted to build something, he taught me how to use the tools and to build things. And I always enjoyed doing those kind of creative hands-on things that probably helped me in my engineering, understanding how things fit together spatially and mechanically. As part of my consulting, I do quite a bit of travel, or have, at least in the past. Certainly the last 2 years with the pandemic, that's not been true. But in the past, I've done a lot of traveling and professional volunteer activities with engineering accreditation and those kinds of things. And my husband has always supported me on that, taking care of things at home, taking care of the dogs and all that. So gotten, wonderful support from my family all around. I don't have any children, because typically you think about legacy, you're leaving it to the next generation. I don't have any children to leave my business to, or my intellectual property, or whatever you want to think about. But legacy-wise, I think it would be that I have had an impact on small manufacturing in the United States and on engineering education. And I just spent last Friday night with 3 industrial engineering students at Penn State, and they were asking me all sorts of questions about organizations and how organizations really operate. And I think a couple of the things that I've tried to emphasize when I meet with students like that is that they find a job that allows them to utilize their natural gifts and their passions, that they'll always be happy, they'll do good work because it's something that they enjoy doing. And then as an industrial engineer, that as an engineer or a member of any organization, that you continue to be a learner and to try new things, to take a step in a direction that you're interested in, learn from that, and then evaluate, make adjustments as needed, and take the next step. That waiting for the perfect job or the perfect situation to take action may never arrive. So take even a small step and learn from that, and then continue to move forward. If I had to summarize my life's work in one word, it would be transformational. The work that I have done has all been centered around transforming business processes or organizations, or having an impact on people's lives. I'd like to be remembered as, well, someone that transformed the environment, the people and the communities in which she was a part of. Also that, some key words that come to mind that my friends, my colleagues have used is that I'm a natural integrator of seeing the connections between what on the surface appear to be different and being able to bring concepts, tools, people, organizations together, integrator, but in a very practical kind of way. So transformation, integrator, practical, those are 3 key words that I would like to be remembered for.